Rob Gronkowski, Wikipedia. You ever get handed a second chance and feel like the room is watching to see whether you'll fumble it or flip it into something bigger? That's the whole story here. Shedeur Sanders had a nightmare cameo in Week 11, 4 of 16, 47 yards, an interception, a fumble, 2 sacks. But now he's sitting in the starter's chair for Week 12 with Rob Gronkowski on national TV betting he'll seize it and never leave it. The stakes couldn't be higher for a kid trying to quiet critics and claim a job. Reuters. Let's be blunt. Gronkowski isn't just a personality who says headlines for clicks. He's a Hall of Fame tight end with a long history in the league and a pulse on locker room dynamics. When he tells a national audience, I think he gets a win, and I think he stays consistent and he remains the starting quarterback of the Cleveland Browns, that's not fluff. It's an endorsement that changes the conversation from rookie debut to opportunity to define a season. People listen when a former star with credibility makes a confident call. Yahoo Tetao. Now the facts. The Browns will start Sanders in Week 12 after Dillon Gabriel remained in concussion protocol. The team officially named him the starter, which means Shedeur will get a full week of reps with the ones and the chance to show growth beyond the ragged numbers he posted in Baltimore. That's not theoretical. It's a real opportunity with real consequences for the roster and for perceptions about Cleveland's quarterback room. Yahoo Thethao. If you watched the tape from his debut, there were moments that made you wince, and 1 or 2 that made you lean forward. The incompletions weren't all mechanics. Some were schematic breakdowns, protection issues, and a defense that took away easy reads. He stared down pressure, missed throws, and lost a football. But here's the counter. He also stepped into a hostile moment in relief and didn't quit. For some evaluators, that counts for more than one clunker on the stat sheet. The league is loud, scouts are patient. What matters is what he does with the next chance. Let's talk about the mental ledger. Shedeur had a bizarre overlay to his debut. While he was playing, his home was reportedly burglarized and $200,000 in items were taken. He later said none of his jewelry was taken and pushed through with a calm, oddly collected public response. That's relevant because quarterbacks don't just throw with their arm, they throw with their head. If he can compartmentalize trauma, noise, and a rookie baptism by fire, that resilience will be the difference between a story about one bad game and a comeback arc critics will have to respect. People.com. This is where Gronkowski's prediction gets interesting. He's not hyping a narrative for clicks. He's pointing to matchup and context. The Raiders are one of the league's weaker teams right now, and starting against a flawed defense is exactly the kind of environment where a young QB can grow into rhythm. Gronkowski framed it like this: a clean week of prep, slower reads, predictable progress that can yield a win and, importantly, buy time for consistent play. Sometimes players and former players see the scoreboard possibilities more clearly than pundits hunched over metrics. Yahoo Thethao. But let's not ignore the knobs the Browns must turn. First, play calling. For Shedeur to succeed early, Kevin Stefanski and the staff will need to simplify reads, use high-percentage completions, incorporate movement and play action to slow defenders, and protect him with quicker drops and max pro sets. Second, protection. If he's getting hit early and often, confidence drains faster than a faucet. Third, receivers and yards after catch opportunities. He needs teammates to make plays after the catch so the box score doesn't look like a one-man pity party. These are practical, solvable issues if the staff actually leans into them. ClevelandBrowns.com. There's another layer, the coach's timeline. Head Coach Kevin Stefanski has said Dillon Gabriel will resume the starting role once cleared from concussion protocol. That creates a ticking clock for Shedeur. Play well enough and you create a dilemma for the staff, play poorly, and you're back to the sidelines. In short, performance here is propositioning not just for the next game, but for who starts when Gabriel is healthy. That's tough pressure for a rookie, but pressure can also be a supercharger when handled correctly. Now the culture test. You don't win locker rooms with one press conference. You win them with practice habits, accountability, and the kind of detailed preparation that signals to teammates you're not a flash in the pan. Shedeur needs to show up in walkthroughs, lead with calm, and avoid the rookie pitfalls of inconsistency. If he earns trust in practice, it'll translate into more aggressive play calling and longer leash on game day. That's the chain reaction that turns a 1-week start into a sustained run. No one wants to see a coaching staff flip from "we'll let him play" to "we told you so." ClevelandBrowns.com. Let's give a quick reality check on the Raiders matchup. Las Vegas has flaws in their secondary alignment and run defense issues that can be exploited with misdirection and tempo. A smart Browns game plan would feature intermediate throws, clear checkdowns, bootlegs to test edge contain, and a commitment to the run to keep pass rushers honest. In other words, put Shedeur in situations where he can succeed early and build the game with short, confidence-building completions. That's the exact framework Gronkowski implicitly suggested when he spoke about staying ready. Yahoo Tethao finally. Here's the public beat. Fans and media will overreact to the first drive and underreact to the slow arc. If Shedeur throws a pick early, there will be calls for Gabriel's return. If he engineers a few scoring drives, sudden bravery will replace skepticism. The healthy way to consume this is patient curiosity. Watch how he handles the first 3 series, then the second half, then how he answers pressure. Great careers don't get awarded in November because one TV analyst liked you. They get earned with repetition, film, and the grind. Gronk's take is loud. Now it's Shedeur's turn to be louder on the field. Yahoo Thetao. If you want the emotional hook to walk away with, this is a young man's audition where one performance can rewrite a narrative. Rob Gronkowski's faith is a spark, but fire only happens when the rookie brings kindling, poise, reps, and a couple of clean drives. Whether Shedeur Sanders becomes a footnote or a headline depends less on punditry and more on whether he answers the bell when the stadium lights make everything look bigger than it is. Tonight, everyone's watching. Tomorrow, he either proves them right or gives them a reason to keep watching. You want it straight. Here it is. Rob Gronkowski surprised a lot of national skeptics by publicly betting on Shedeur Sanders' bounce back before Sanders' first NFL start. On FanDuel TV's Up and Adams, Gronkowski said Sanders has the perfect setup, a full week of first-team reps and a matchup with a struggling Raiders team, and predicted Sanders will get the win and keep the job as Cleveland's starter. Newsweek, that's a bold take because Sanders' actual NFL debut was ugly. He came on after Dillon Gabriel exited with a concussion and finished 4 for 16 for 47 yards with an interception, a fumble, and 2 sacks in the Browns' loss to Baltimore. The raw box score and film made it easy for critics to call his first look underprepared. Reuters, Cleveland's staff pushed back against panic. Instead, they gave Sanders an honest chance to prepare. The team handed him a full week of first-team reps and simplified the game plan to accentuate his strengths, more quick reads and a few designed downfield shots.